Hello, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It's a Sarah podcast. Today is Monday, May 23, and this is episode 28. I am Sarah, I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination to make a podcast on YouTube about that subjects. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I make a knitting podcast and a crochet podcast for quite a while. First I made videos on Instagram TV, later on YouTube, and since a few weeks I also make an episode in English every week. I make an English one and a Dutch one every week, and I was a bit struggling with my English, and it felt very annoying that I couldn't speak perfectly English, but it's also why do I have to speak perfectly English when I'm not a native English speaker? So I could skip that feeling, and now I feel so much joy to make these English episodes also. And I want to thank you for all the nice words every time you leave in the comments. And last week I was a bit surprised. There were so many new viewers, and I asked myself, where are they coming from? But some of you told me that Selma from the Little Big Knits podcast mentioned me in her latest episode, and I do watch her episodes, but I haven't seen that one yet, so it was a very nice surprise. And if you are a new viewer, welcome here. It's so nice to have you here. Yes, I chat about my knitting and crochet a bit, mainly knitting, and do I have to say something more for introduction? Yeah, what do you want to know? My name is Sarah, I live in the Netherlands, in the south of the Netherlands. That's quite funny because we have, our country is not as big, not so big, but I live in a town in the south with my husband and my 3 kids. My kids are teenagers. 2 girls and 1 boy. We have a dog, and I love to craft. That's what you want to know, and I want to tell you all about my crafting adventures. I told you in was it last episode? In Dutch I say I tell you about my handwerkperikelen, and that sounds much cozier than crafting adventures. But it is the same, it is what it is. So I will tell you all about my crafting adventures from last week. First, what I wear. It's an old knit, and it's one of my favorite knits. It's the penny sweater from TinCanKnits, and I guess it was not my first complicated lace pattern, but it was one of the first. I think I made it in 2019. I'm not sure. I didn't check. That's how you say it, I think. But I was very proud when I finished this garment. I made it in a yarn I found at a thrift shop. Brown is absolutely my favorite color for years now, and it still is. I do love brown. Brown has my heart. I found this yarn in a thrift shop, and if I am correct, I think it was Lana Grossa. I'm not sure, but I found quite a few skeins of this yarn, and it is a cotton bamboo mix. I never knitted with this kind of yarn before, and it didn't work very nice. It was very splittery, but it feels, it does wear very nice. It's when you wash it, cotton gets a bit rough, a bit stiff. But when I wear it, it softens up again, and that's quite okay. I have a kind of 3/4 sleeves because I didn't have enough yarn for full length sleeves, and it's also quite cropped, but it's very it works out very nice with this skirt and on a dress. I did make a big mistake with this tee. It is not a tee. With this sweater, with this top. When do you call it a top? It's a sweater with long sleeves. A tee with very short sleeves. Is this a? I don't know. A shirt. I think this is a shirt. But when I only recently finished it, it accidentally came in my basket with towels. So I put it in the washing machine and washed it on 60 degrees. You don't want to wash your knits on 60 degrees. Certainly cotton, yeah, wool would have been felted, I guess, and cotton is okay. So it shrinked a bit, and it's quite tight now. And when I put it out of the washing machine, I only want to cry. And I saw a very tiny, perfectly lace knitted garment, which cost me so much time and effort and willpower to finish, and it looked only so small. So I only want to cry. But I put it on, and I fit in. I fit it in, and it was okay. It's quite fitted now, but I especially here, and I don't like my knits. I do like fitted sleeves very much, but in summer I want some space here, so the breeze can go through, I guess, and it's quite warm. So, but I do wear it and I do love it, and I do have. I bought yarn for a new one a few weeks ago. I don't know when I'm gonna make it, but I will make one with long sleeves. But I do love the pattern. I do love the V-shaped neckline. I don't love high neckline, so this is perfect for me. It's even still a bit high. I guess I will choose a size bigger when I'm gonna make another one, but I have to take a look. When I knitted this, I was not quite familiar with positive ease or negative ease and bust circle. I hate that word, bust circle. That here, the centimeters on your bust. So I'm not sure I picked the correct size, but I do love this sweater. I also make a mistake, but it's on my back, and I even can tell you where it is, so I pay attention to it, Sarah. Come on. Okay, that's what I wear. Let me see. Do I want to tell you? I did make some notes. I not always do that, but I was a bit afraid I forgot. Forgot to tell you something. So I did make some notes. I have 2 finished objects, 2 pairs of socks. First one I can't show you yet. They are a test knit for Lerke for FiberTales. They are the Humblebi socks. She showed them in her latest episode. I saw this weekend. She uploaded it this weekend, I guess. But I will show them and take pictures and tell you all about them when her pattern is ready. So I will wait a bit, but they are laying there and I love them. I love that little humblebees. Oh, it's so sweet. So that's a finished object. I was a bit struggling with the pattern, no, not with the pattern, but with finishing. I was a bit struggling because I'm switching my knitting style from continental to English style, and I was knitting on short needles, and that was all kind of new for me, so that made me struggle through this pattern. It's not the pattern, but my technique. And last week I decided I want to finish them tonight. No matter what, I want to finish them tonight, and I will finish them tonight. And it was quite a late night. I'm not an evening person. I love to go to bed quite early, not very, 10 o'clock I'm in bed that's good for me, let's say that. And almost every day it will, I'm struggling about my words. Now, doesn't matter, but it wasn't 10 o'clock and then they weren't finished. So it was a late evening, but they were finished. Actually, it wasn't, it was all after 12. So it was the next day officially, but it was only a few minutes after 12. So I like to challenge myself so now and then. The other, my other finished object is also a pair of socks. I casted them on Thursday and finished them this morning, and they are a gift knit. And I want to share a bit of my thoughts about gift knitting, about gift knits, because I feel like I have a quite complicated relationship with gift knits. I love them and I hate them. it's so I love to knit or crochet something for all the lovely people in my life, but when I'm working on it, I so often feel, it costs so much time, too much time, and I don't want to spend so much time on knitting for other people, and I want to knit for myself. Maybe I'm more a selfish knitter. So, but every time I do it, last year in December, I made a video in which I showed all my knits and all my handmades from 2021, and I counted them, and I was a bit shocked that half of all my finished objects were for other people and not for myself. Half. I guess how much did I make? 40 something finished objects, and more than 20 were for other people. And it's okay to make things for other people, but there I have a huge list with things I want to make for myself. So that's a bit struggling, and thinking of, I want to make that person a pair of socks or a hat or shawl or whatever, goes always very fast and very easy. But making actually that, a garment or shawl or pair of socks you had thought of costs way too much time, way more time. So I'm a bit struggling with that. And when I discovered how much I made for other people in 2021, I told myself that I will do that different in 2022. But I'm not there yet. It's quite hard. I love to make stuff for other people, and that's contradicting. So I was knitting these socks, and I knitting another pair of socks also for a friend. These are also for a friend, and I was thinking, okay, could I tell myself to stop knitting for other people for the rest of the year? No, because immediately I thought of a friend whose birthday is next month, and I want to knit her something because it's a special birthday, and I made an appointment with myself that I will finish 2 pairs of socks for my dear friends, and I will finish. I will cast on and finish. I have casted on last Saturday a shawl for my friends, and then I will not do gift knitting till the end of the year. Maybe when it's December, Christmas, and in the Netherlands we have Sinterklaas. Maybe I will do then. And I do not count the knits for my kids, for my family. And I know my daughters want some ruffled socks. And I have a pattern, I have the yarn, and they want them now because it's summer now. And so I will make both of my girls a pair of ruffled socks. But that's not a gift knit. That's a mothery thing, I guess. Mothery, I don't know if that's a word. So I'm a bit, I'm looking for the word, verbaasd. Nee, nieuwsgierig. I'm a bit nieuwsgierig. In Dutch we say nieuwsgierig. Oh, curious, of course. I'm a bit curious. How do you feel about gift knits? And do you have a tip? A tip is not a good word. A hint? No. Now, do you have something for me? What will work? That's not a good. A tip. A tip is what you get in a restaurant. A hint? What's the right word for tip? When you have a practical tip, when you have a good idea for me. How do you say that in English? I don't know. I do love to read the comments. Every episode I have a word and how do you say that in English? And then you have in the comments I read in the UK we call it this, in Canada we call it this, in the United States we call it this, in Australia we call it this. It's very interesting. Language is very interesting. But do you know the word for me for how when you have a good idea for someone? In the Netherlands, in Dutch we say ik heb een tip voor je. Okay, but let's go to the finished object. The socks. First, when I was thinking about the time it would cost me, I had a good idea and I thought, let's knit socks. Let's knit socks with 2 strands of yarn. My friend's birthday is today, but she will give a party on Friday. So I see her on Friday, and so I didn't have much time to knit for her. So it must be a quick knit. So I thought let's hold 2 strands of yarn together for thick socks, and I did. But this didn't work out. I thought when I pick 1 skein of yarn and I only change the second color every 8 rows, I guess, then I don't have to weave in so many ends of yarns, and I don't know, it will be a right sock, but I didn't like it. I didn't like this color, how they blend, and I also didn't like, I was ripping out already, and then I thought, let's show it on the podcast. So I guess I've ripped out 2 or 3 stripes already, but I didn't like the color and the contrast, and no, I didn't like it. So I will rip out this all, and I started a second sock, this one, and I do like this. I also have this one. They are finished, almost finished, only the yarn ends, but I have a question about that also in a minute. But what I did, I held 3 strands of yarn together on a 3.5 millimeter needle, and I cast it on. My knitting go-to for socks is toe up, so I cast it on 10 stitches. With the Turkish cast on. I absolutely do love the Turkish cast on. It's a very easy and quick way of casting on your stitches for the toe. Then I increased to, let's check my Ravelry notes. I increased to 44 stitches. No, I didn't write that. That's not okay. Yes, I 22 on every needle. I cast it on for a toe with a long circular needle, magic loop way, and I increased till 22 stitches on every needle, so 44 total. This is a size 38. I'm not sure. Is that a size 6? in other countries? I'm not sure. 38. 48. It's my size, 38, and I'm quite sure she has the same size. Maybe a little bigger, maybe 39, but they will fit also on a 39 foot. So I increased till 44 stitches, then I knitted 8 rounds and I changed to the second stripe, and every stripe is 8 rounds. Sometimes there was a mistake. I have also stripes of 7 rounds and of 9 rounds, but it's okay. Scrappy socks, they are okay. And I do like the colors, color blending. I must say I've added quite a lot of scraps in the colors I don't like. I'm not a blue or purple person. Yellow, oh, there's flying something. Yellow is also not my go-to, I guess. But I have a lot of scraps from advent calendars and yarn balls, and it was very fun way to work through my scraps. And now I have a very thick pair of socks, and you can say it's more like, in Dutch we say sloffen, a layer over your socks. When you are in the house, house slippers, maybe, is that the correct word? Quite warm. They are too thick to wear in your shoes, I guess, but I love to wear my Birkenstocks, and you can wear them therein. Oh, there's a fly. Can you see it? Oh no, don't bother me, please. I knitted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stripes, so 40 rounds. On a 3.5 millimeter needle. Then I did a shadow wrap short row heel. Quite a challenge with so many stitches on your needle. When you knit with 3 strands together, you have 3 strands in one stitch. So when you have the shadow wrap short row heel and you are at the back and turning and whatever, you have three. How do you say? 3 You have 9 strands of yarn on your needle for one stitch, and that was quite a challenge, but it did work out pretty good. I also knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 40 rounds for the leg, and then 8 rounds for the cuff in a 2x2 rib. And they aren't finished completely because this was the first time I used the weave in Steven method. A method I saw on from Stephen West. Oh, the inside is pretty too. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's look at this. I did use the weaving Stephen method, and I throw my strands of yarn around each other. I don't know if that's a good explanation, but now I'm at a point I can cut them off, and I find it quite exciting to do that with socks. Is it enough to just cut it off? Yeah, when you are familiar with Stephen's method, and I have heard some people who used this method, so I will doing it. But normally for socks I'm more a better safe than sorry person, and it feels quite yeah, just cut them off and there will be no holes while wearing. Normally I would try it first for socks for my own. But it was so, otherwise there would be so many ends to weave in, way too many. So that's why, look at this, and only cut them off is just a few minutes time, and I think it will be very satisfying. But if you have experience with this method, let me know. I'm very curious about it. I love them. So I will cut them off. I will try, because I have no time to weave in all one by one. I don't want to think about that either. So I will cut them off, and I will, I don't know if I will block them, maybe. Oh, I love this inside stockinette stitch. Okay, so one finished pair of socks, extra thick socks, house slippers. It was lovely to make them. It worked out perfectly on this short needle. I love it for knitting socks. Only for the toes I need my magic loop needle. The heels, the shadow wrap short row heel I could knit on this needle. And yeah, they flew off my needles a few days. So I must remember when I really want to knit one of my love people in my life socks, make them house slippers instead of thin socks for in their shoes. Okay, so you can find my notes on Ravelry. Since I make episodes in English every week, I try to keep up with my notes in English also on my Ravelry page. Oh, I forgot to tell that. You can find me on Ravelry as It's a Sarah, and you can find me on Instagram at it now. And you can find me at Instagram as It Is a Sarah. That's my go-to name everywhere. I'm quite active on Instagram. I love to share. I love to make pictures of my knitting, and I love to share them. So you can find me there if you want to. Okay. I have the links all below in the description box. Let's see. These were my finished objects. Oh yeah, I say that's why I made notes about the cast off, the bind off. I always use extra stretchy bind off for my socks, and I once seen them. I once have seen them that way in a video. But what I didn't know, when I was doing the test knit for Lerke for FiberTales, we were chatting, not me, but somebody else, and they were chatting about Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. And I was quite content with my way of bind off, but I was a bit curious. So nice, I know that word now. A bit curious, so I looked for Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, and I was a bit surprised that it was almost my way of the extra stretchy bind off, only when you bind off in rib stitch, when you do the knit stitches, you make an extra yarn over from the back, from back to front, and when you do the purl stitches, you make an extra yarn over from the front to the back. I didn't do that. I always did from the back to the front. So now I do it Jenny's way, Jeannie, it said, and it looks the extra stretchy bind off isn't a very neat bind off, but I don't bother it. It's a bit wonky because I love a stretchy bind off in my in the cuffs for my socks, and also with sleeves, so I can do this easily. But it looks much nicer than only my extra stretchy bind off with only the yarn over from the back. So that was very nice to discover. I'm glad. I will link the video. I did link the video in my Ravelry project page, but I will link it also down below which video I used. There are so many videos, knitting tutorials on YouTube. That's very fine, very nice, but I will link the one I used. Okay, yes. Then my whips, the projects I'm working on. First one is my Ariana cardigan in this brown basket. I told you about it last week. I didn't have a picture of it here. It's in my craft book, and it's downstairs. But I want to tell you something about it. There are so many people who are excited about this pattern and said to me, "Oh, I want to make it also," and that's quite nice. But there was also somebody. Oh, I do need my craft book. A moment. I do need my craft book to show you my adjustments. I will pause and get my craft book from downstairs. So I'm back again. I have a craft book in which I make all my notes while working on projects, and this is, I guess, the third one. I have. They look all the same, and yeah, there are as a knitting diary, and I look in my notes very often for yeah. I'm a bit out of breath. I'm on the, how do you call it? The second floor? No, the third floor of our house. So I run up 2 stairs. I run down 2 stairs and run up 2 stairs. And I think I have quite a good condition, but maybe it is not. Okay, so my craft book is a very nice diary to check all old projects, and there are memories to all projects, and I also put in nice cards or pictures and yarn threads and whatever. And I hope later, when I'm very old lady, or maybe when I'm gone, this is a good memory of my knitting life for my kids and their kids and whatever. So I love my craft book. But let's see. This is the Ariana cardigan. A cardigan with crochet granny squares and a knitted button band and knitted ribbing for the hem and the sleeves. And I loved it immediately. But someone commented me on the Dutch video, and she said, I made it, but I'm ripping it out because there is way too much fabric under my arms and the fit isn't well. So that that was very kind of her to let me know, because that made me think, okay, let's check all the Ravelry projects and what the other people want to say. It's not, I do not always check before I start knitting, but it is a good idea to do that, because when you read other people's mistakes or struggles with a pattern, maybe you don't have to go through that struggles yourself. That's why they keep up their notes, isn't it? So I checked the notes, and there were more people with complaining about the fit, and there were quite a few people complaining about the description of putting the squares together in the pattern. It's a free pattern. It's a free pattern from Amy Christoffers, and she made it for a yarn company, Barocco, I guess. I will put the link down. And you knit first all the granny squares and triangles and quarter squares, and then you put them together with on the way with the main color, with the gray. You crochet them. Let's see. You crochet them together, and I saw quite a few people were complaining about the way it was described in the pattern. I am a big fan of as you go, granny squares crocheting together as you go. So I was thinking about doing that, and so I don't. That will not be my problem. It didn't even look to the description of the assembling, is that the right word? Assembling the granny squares and triangles and quarters together. So I do it as you go. And the brown, I didn't have it last week. The brown long yarn Skyly will be my main color, and it's a very nice color. Brown is my favorite color. So first of all, I started. I thought, wouldn't it be nice to do also a round of granny stitch on these edges? The pattern didn't tell you that to do, so I tried, but it didn't work out quite good. So now I will do it this way, and you have to pick up stitches here. My thought was, will the stitches be neater when here's also already a brown row of stitches? But I can always crochet around when the squares and all are together. I didn't work on it very much, but this will absolutely be an process focused project. I'm mostly a product knitter, focused on the product, because I want that sweater, I want that pair of socks, I want that shawl. But this cardigan, it's not that, yeah, I want that cardigan, but the most important is I want to make granny squares. Granny squares are my absolutely favorite thing to do. I want to make a granny square every day, one every day. And I do have a lot of granny squares blankets, and I didn't want to make a blanket again. And then I saw this cardigan on Ravelry, and that was the solution for my granny square making feeling. I want to make a granny square every day. So that's why, besides, there are every row there's another color, so you can imagine you have to weave in a lot of ends. So it costs time. So this will be a slow project, and I will build a cardigan. It feels like building a cardigan, because I will show you. I put in this picture from the pattern. It's a free pattern, so I can show. This is the way how you connect all the squares, and now I started that way. I do have this, or I didn't show it right, I guess. But I will make the bottom row, and then I work up every time. And as you can see, I marked the armholes because they were this way, but the Dutch viewer who told me there's way too much fabric under my arms, I looked at the pattern and I thought, yeah, I don't like that too. So when I do not make full squares but triangles under the arms, the armpits, do you call it like that? Then it will be a more fitted fit. I hope, but I don't know. So we'll see. But if you if you are one of the persons who told me, oh, I want to make that cardigan too, then it's important to know. I don't know if I can recommend the pattern, because I didn't work through it, and I read all the comments a lot of comments from people who do not recommend the pattern. So you have to know that. But I'm a crocheter, and only the idea of this is enough for me, I guess, to make something out of it. I'm just gonna go to play. But if you're new to crochet, or maybe it's quite a challenge, then I don't know. You can always play, huh? Isn't it? So I'm looking forward to work on this cardigan, slow, every time a bit. Here you can see how many, this is my first triangle, how many ends you have to weave in. There was also someone who said she skipped a row for a more fitted fit. I was a bit in doubt about that, because I do love a narrow fit. So actually, and the cardigan, it's quite a wide sizing, because this is size small, medium, large. So my size is a small. So there is quite a chance it will be too large for me. But I don't know. I'm a bit afraid when I skip one row it will be too, I don't know. So I will work, I don't know. I don't know. When it's way too big, maybe I find someone else. Or I do like an oversized sweater on jeans, but I don't wear jeans often. I prefer to wear skirts or dresses, but I do have jeans, so maybe. We shall see. It's a process work. Enjoying the process of crocheting granny squares. That's my mainly focus. And if it will be a nice cardigan or not, we shall see. And yeah, I will keep you up with my experiences about that. Okay, then another project I am working on, I will show you quickly because it's not quite exciting, are socks for a good friend of mine. I'm working on the shadow wrap short row heel now, and what I'm working toe up, and as I said, I'm changing my knitting style from continental to English style because my stitches weren't as neat as I wanted them. They were a bit wobbly, and I tried so many things continental, and when I knit English style, it's much better. So now I'm training that, and it's quite. Now it's not hard, but my hands have to. It's training and practicing, and it gets better every day. But these are in rib stitch to knit to, purl to, and I'm kind of flicking, so not throwing but flicking, certainly with my socks. And I watched a video to see what you have to do with your yarn when you go from a knit stitch to a purl stitch. And I saw a video, maybe I told it last week, I don't remember, a video of Very Pink Knits, the very famous knitting tutorial lady. And I saw a slow motion video of the yarn. I told about it last week. I'm sorry. I want to check if I was already at the right point for the foot, and when I was knitting on this little needle, no, not this one, but a 2.25 millimeter needle, I found out that I couldn't put it on because the needle was too tight. So I love my new set I bought last week. So with a cable connector, I connect another cable on it, and I could put it on my this on this foot. And I can put it on the sock blocker to show. And then I will skip one of the cables, and when I am at the leg, and knit the leg on a small needle circumference. I don't like that word. So working on that. And I have one cast on. I told about you when I was talking about the gift knits. I have another friend with a special birthday next month, and I absolutely want to knit her something. I want to knit her a shawl. So I was thinking about it. It cost me time? Do I want it? Yeah, I absolutely want it. And I cast it on immediately because sometimes when I don't like to have too much work projects on my needles, but it's important for me to always have a project I can always knit on. So last week there was a moment my socks were both on the point I couldn't grab them and knit a row. When you get a phone call or you have to go somewhere in the car and you don't have to drive, it's always nice to have a knitting or crochet project which you can grab and always work on. But last week there was a moment, everything was at a point I couldn't grab it. I have to think about it, or when I am knitting a heel, I have to think about it. And so I thought I do have my blankets, but I want quite smaller projects for on the go. So I thought, let's cast on. I put an old thrift shop bag from somewhere because all my project bags were filled. I'm struggling a lot today. I was so proud of my English and it flows, and today my tongue is in the way. It's very annoying. Okay. But I cast it on, and I guess I'm not in the middle of a row. With a very colorful yarn. It's Long Yarns Cloud. It's gifted to me by Long Yarns. It's let's see. It's a yarn 90% merino and 10% polyamide, and very much color, and I combined it, I held it together with a brown mohair, a bit of red brown mohair silk, and it's in my stash for ages. It's from Fildar, Phil Mohair Swy, do you say it that way? Color Bruyere. And my favorite color is brown, and this is quite colorful, so I, by knitting them together, it's a nice dark glow about all the colors, and I love it, and it's very soft and nice. I cast it on. I didn't use a pattern, but I do have a shawl myself I love to wear, and it's quite an old shawl, but it's a garter stitch, and I cast it on. I looked at what I did there. I cast it on 150 stitches with a German twisted cast on, so it would be a bit stretchy. And then, let me see, what did I do? After that I knit all the stitches, and then there were 2 rows I repeat. Row 1, it's the right side, I slip the first stitch purlwise. When you do this every time, you get a nice purl of a nice side stitch. In Dutch we say kantsteek. I don't know in English. You have a neat border. And the second stitch, knit front and back, then knit all the stitches and until you have 2 stitches on your needle, and then you knit front and back, and the last stitch you knit. And the wrong side, you slip 1 stitch purlwise with yarn in front, I forgot to say, again, and knit all the stitches. And repeat these 2 rows. I made notes on my Ravelry page. Gives a very, you can knit until this shawl is long enough. And it worked out pretty fine. And it's nice to use up some scraps. I have 2 balls of this. I have another color combination. These were new balls, but I used them as scraps. This doesn't sound nice, but I have also, this one is my magic yarn ball fingering weight. I also have a magic yarn ball decay weight. I love to put all my scraps, all my tiny scraps together in one ball, and such a shawl would be a perfect project to help double with another yarn. And you only have to knit garter stitch all the time, so it's very, and the long rows you also could use the short rows and you knit it the other way, but I want long rows. I did start knitting English style, but my hands didn't like, they got tired from it, and continental is so much faster, chup, 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 chup. And so I switched to continental because I knit this shawl on 6mm needles, and the yarn is actually recommended 7mm needles, and I also put a mohair with it, but I don't have cherry goose in 7mm needles. I do have 7mm needles, but I don't love to work with them, and I want them on these. So, and I'm quite a loose knitter, especially when I'm knitting continental. So I thought it's good for my hands. I do not want to get rid of my continental skills, because when I'm knitting color work I use them both, continental and English style, so I want to do both. So this one I knit continental, and it's very very nice, and just garter stitch continental is such a project when it's always working out, and all the colors changing automatically. It's a very easy and fun project, and I will put all my love in this for my friend, and I guess I hope she will be happy with it. But I guess it would be a very nice shawl. So working on that, and I think yes, that was also the last thing I want to share with you. Yeah, Yes, it was. So I'm working on my projects, and I want to tell you about. I bought a pattern for a cardigan, a summery cardigan. I bought some yarn last week at a knitting fair, a knitting event, and I absolutely want to knit a cardigan with it. And I told myself, okay, now it's enough. You have enough patterns, you have enough yarn. The coming months, you're only going to knit from stash. I have a huge stash. And also from your stash patterns. I have so many patterns in my Ravelry library, but every time I see something different, and I know that many of you have the same problem. I don't know if it's a problem, but I think it's also very satisfying to work through your beautiful yarns laying around and that. But with all these small projects, it was good to don't cast on something new very, very fast, so I can overthink. What do I need? What do I want? And I'm not pretty sure about my first thing, if it will be a cardigan or another summer secret crop, my little secret crop. I'm not sure. So I will tell you next week, because then there is something new on my needles. I'm sure about that. Okay, thank you for watching. Thank you for all the lovely words you leave every time. And I hope you have a nice knitting work or crochet work, and which you can work on today or tomorrow or every day. It's such a annoying end. Now, I just want to say have fun with your knitting and crochet, and have a nice day. Till next week.